It started as a high-profile interview meant to promote Prince Harry's latest project, but what unfolded on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert quickly spiraled into a fiery and unexpected clash. From the moment Harry stepped onto the stage, his demeanor was calm but intense, like someone with a lot on his chest. Colbert greeted him with enthusiasm, referencing Harry's book and recent media appearances. The first few questions were soft, even humorous, but it didn't take long for the conversation to shift into more serious territory. When Colbert touched on Harry's strained relationship with the royal family, the prince's expression stiffened. "I didn't come here to play games," he said. "The truth has been twisted for far too long." The audience murmured. Colbert, sensing the energy shift, tried to stay composed, but the tone had already changed. The atmosphere in the studio grew heavier as Harry began making bold claims about the British monarchy, the tabloid press, and the manipulation, he claimed, shaped his early life. Colbert asked, "Do you think your public battles have helped or hurt the causes you believe in?" Harry replied, "They've helped. People are finally questioning an institution that's operated in secrecy for generations." Colbert followed up with, "But critics say your comments have only widened the divide." Harry didn't flinch. "Sometimes you have to rip off the mask to reveal the wound," he said. The audience reacted with mixed applause and whispers. Colbert tried steering things toward diplomacy, but Harry remained firm. "I'm not interested in palace-approved narratives," he added. That's when the tension started to bubble into discomfort, both on stage and among the viewers. Colbert attempted to lighten the mood with a joke about royal titles and American talk shows. "At least you won't get beheaded here for speaking your mind," he quipped. Harry didn't laugh. Instead, he responded, "Silencing with shame is the modern version of the axe." The crowd reacted with audible gasps. Colbert adjusted his posture and asked, "Do you feel the monarchy has silenced you?" Harry nodded. "Not just me, many. You just don't hear about them." The comment hung heavy in the air. Colbert was visibly taken aback. "Some might say you're throwing stones from a very privileged castle," he offered. Harry shot back, "Privilege doesn't protect you from trauma. It often hides it." The audience applauded, but the tension continued to mount. The segment was clearly veering off script, and the control room was starting to buzz. Things intensified when Colbert brought up Harry's critics in the UK and within the Commonwealth. "Some feel your criticisms undermine the unity of those institutions," Colbert said. Harry leaned forward. "Unity built on silence isn't unity. It's control," he said. Colbert asked, "So you think the monarchy is more about control than tradition?" Harry answered bluntly. "It's about image over integrity." The crowd gasped again. Colbert's eyes widened slightly. "That's a bold statement," he said. "It's the truth," Harry replied, "and truth shouldn't be edited for royal comfort." The audience erupted, but producers backstage began exchanging looks. The tone was now combative, the interview no longer entertaining but provocative. Colbert glanced at his notes, likely weighing how much further to go. Harry's face remained stoic. He wasn't pulling back. Colbert asked about Harry's relationship with his brother and father. "Do you believe reconciliation is still possible?" he asked. Harry exhaled deeply. "Reconciliation without accountability is just pretending," he said. The crowd went silent. Colbert tried to pivot. "But isn't family more important than being right?" Harry responded. "Being right isn't the goal. Being heard is." It was a powerful moment, but one that clearly pushed boundaries. Colbert followed up, perhaps too directly. "So, do you see yourself as a victim of the crown?" Harry narrowed his eyes. "I see myself as someone who escaped it." That comment drew a mixture of cheers and uneasy chuckles. Colbert looked briefly off camera. The temperature in the room had shifted fully from curiosity to tension. There was no going back to light conversation now. By now, the audience was watching a debate, not an interview. Colbert asked if Harry ever worried that his message was being drowned out by the drama. "Does the attention help the cause or overshadow it?" he asked. Harry answered. The media turns everything into spectacle, but I speak for those who can't. Colbert pushed again. But aren't you now part of that media machine? Harry paused. I use the tools of the system to expose the system, he said. The crowd gave a hesitant cheer. Colbert didn't respond right away. The silence was noticeable. Then, for the first time in the segment, Colbert seemed frustrated. It feels like you're more interested in making headlines than making peace, he said. That line seemed to cross a line. Harry leaned in and replied coldly, and you seem more interested in ratings than truth. That remark landed like a bomb. The audience let out a collective, "Oh!" and Colbert looked visibly stunned. For a few moments, neither man spoke. Then Colbert said, well, that's certainly one way to end a segment. But Harry wasn't done. You invited me here to speak, but only on terms that make you comfortable, he said. That's not dialogue, it's performance. Colbert stood up slowly. If you came here just to lecture, you picked the wrong platform, he responded. Producers began moving behind the scenes. Cameras kept rolling, but there was movement near the stage, signaling that the situation had become unsalvageable. Colbert turned to his crew and said quietly, we'll be right back. But the music. Cue never came. Instead, Harry removed his mic and stood up on his own. As Prince Harry walked off stage without waiting for a formal send-off, the studio buzzed with whispers and side glances. Colbert remained seated, trying to regain his composure. Well, he finally said to the audience, we were supposed to talk about his charity project, but I guess we got other content instead. Nervous laughter followed. Sometimes even royalty forgets the rules of live TV, he added. It was clear to everyone that this would dominate headlines. The live audience looked stunned, some clapping out of reflex. There had been no shouting, no profanity, but the emotional intensity was unlike anything late night had seen in recent memory. The interview had turned into a full-scale philosophical showdown between one of the world's most watched royals and one of America's most pointed satirists. Social media erupted instantly. Clips of the clash were everywhere within the hour. Hashtags like Prince Harry Colbert, Royal Exit to Maiku, and Truth Bombs Late Night trended worldwide. Some viewers hailed Harry for his courage, others criticized him for arrogance. Colbert received both. Applause for standing his ground and backlash for cutting the interview short. Analysts on both sides of the Atlantic debated the deeper meanings. Was this a personal meltdown or a strategic attack on royal institutions? Was Colbert pushing for real answers or just ratings? The online war of opinion raged on. Meanwhile, official representatives from Harry's team remained mostly silent, only issuing a brief comment. Prince Harry stands by everything he said. The episode, meant to be a boost for Harry's public image, had instead opened a global debate on power, trauma, and who gets to control the narrative. In the aftermath, Colbert addressed the situation on the following night's show. Sometimes guests surprise you, he said, and sometimes they surprise themselves. He didn't apologize. Instead, he defended the space his show creates for open discussion, even if it ends in confrontation. Prince Harry, for his part, doubled down in a follow-up podcast appearance. When you speak your truth, don't expect applause, he said. The moment had clearly changed how both men would be viewed in the public eye. What was supposed to be a conversation turned into a mirror reflecting the discomfort between tradition and rebellion, between media and monarchy, between the old world and the new. Prince Harry was no longer just a royal or a celebrity. He was now a disruptor. And Colbert, a host who had just witnessed history unfold from his own chair, see,